What does it look like for that type 3, the achiever, to be on their path of growth? Today's video is all about that growth path, also known as the growth arrow and line of integration. It's where the 3 goes when they're growing, when they're going down a healthy path, and that path is they go towards the healthy side of a type 6, that loyalist. And stay tuned, because after I teach you all about the growth path of the type 3, I'm going to be teaching you 3 growth tips for the Enneagram Type 3. If you're new here, I'm Hillary. I'm a certified Enneagram coach. I'm a certified life coach. I also run an Etsy shop where I create and design Enneagram stickers and different types of things like that. And I love to teach you guys the Enneagram in the easiest and simplest way possible here on this platform. Okay, so let's dive into being a 3 and what a 3 looks like when it's growing. Like I said, that Enneagram Type 3, the achiever, travels down the path towards the Enneagram Type 6, the loyalist. When they are doing good, they're growing, and they are taking the time to take care of themselves. This is where they go. They utilize the healthy tools and that healthy side of the 6. Okay, so breaking this down even further, what that would actually look like in the type 3 is, the first thing you're going to notice in yourself is you start to slow down and think deeper about your life. You think about your relationships, what they look like, what you want them to look like. You really start to slow down and just focus in on yourself and relationships. Another thing you're going to notice is that your energy starts to be used in a more balanced approach. That side of you that tends to overwork until you're burnt out relaxes, and you begin to allow for rest time when you need it. So one thing I've noticed is 3s tend to go towards their goals and their agendas without ever really thinking it through. But when going towards that type 6, where do you go? You go to the head triad. The 5, 6, and 7 are in that head triad. You start to use discernment and more informed decision making instead of quickly and carelessly just running towards those goals. One thing to watch out for is that type 3 starts to think that everybody else's success takes away from their own success, which is not true. So as that 3 is moving down that healthy path towards the 6, they really become a true team player that wants the best for everyone. And they begin to realize that everybody's success is important and that other people's success does not take away from their own success. I really believe that true success for that type 3 is when they are running their race with everybody. They're taking everyone with them. They're not running it alone. Which leads me into a type 3 could find success in becoming a coach of some kind, a mentor in someone's life. Why? Because they really, really can ignite inspiration in other people. They start to cheer them on and want to see them succeed, and those roles really allow for that. Truthfully, 3s are super hardworking, and when they start to use that for the greater good, it's the healthiest thing for the 3. They are great leaders. They are great cheerleaders and very inspirational for people around them. What do you think, guys? Do you see this show up in your life? All of these things that I've talked about as you're traveling down that growth path, do you see a lot of them show up? And when you do see them show up, you know you're traveling down the right path, the path that you're meant to go down. So let's go ahead and move right along into growth tip number 1. Like I promised you, I'm going to share 3 growth tips to help you. And the first growth tip for that Enneagram Type 3, failure. It's part of the process. It's going to happen. And I know it's a core fear, right? For the Type 3, it's a core fear. Failure is one of their fears. And truthfully, everybody's fears happen, right? All 9 types have different fears that motivate them, to go a different way. And because what are we doing? We're running away from our fears. We're running towards our desires. Those are our motivation. Those are some of our motivations. And honestly, I can totally relate with you guys, right? One of yours is fear of failure, and one of mine is fear of conflict. But let's be honest, I can't go through life without ever having conflict. And so I hope that helps you understand you're not going to be able to go through life without ever having failure or experienced failure, right? It's what you do with it that matters. But the growth is when you learn to walk with it, to walk through it, and to learn from it, that's when failure no longer has to stay a fear. The lesson that we learn through failures can be hard, right? I agree with that. I mean, I don't like failure either, but it's usually necessary to go through to get where we want to go. One thing that I think is super important for the type 3 is please do not assume that failure or going through failure makes you failure as a person, because it absolutely does not. It makes you better. It makes you stronger. And when you're finally able to accept failure and not allow it to stop you from going after what you want, that is truly the healthiest path you can be on. So don't avoid it at all cost, or hide it, or feel shame about it. Own it, use it, give it away to somebody so that it can help them maybe not have to go through that, but really, really take it into account of your life and use it for the greater good. Failure is part of the journey. And what I want you to ask yourself as we get to the end of this first growth tip is, why is failure a bad thing? Really ask yourself that, kind of dig into that. And I think you're going to uncover some things and be able to grow from that. Okay, so let's move along to the second growth tip, which is discover who you really are apart from your image. 3s tend to focus so much on that image they're creating or the success and accomplishments that they're chasing because they help them look good, right? And uphold that image that they're trying to present. And I think honestly, this allows the 3 to lose sight of who they really are, what they actually want in life, and how they really want to live. 3s, if you don't know your authentic who, what, and how, it's really time to dig deeper and discover this. Who are you? What do you really want out of life? And how do you want to go about it, right? Go deeper, go past the image part, go past the part that you feel like you have to put this mask on so that people will maybe accept you or love you or anything like that. And start to ask yourself these really hard questions. They are really hard for a 3. Push through that. Take some time and start to ask yourself if you really do know who you are apart from that image that you are wanting. I'm here to say that you can be loved for who you are apart from your successes, your achievements, your image. You are seriously lovable just how you are. If you've been around here a while, you know that I have a type 3 son, 3-wing 4, who is going to be 21 this summer. And this is a message that I try and teach them all the time, that, you know, apart from all of this, the success, everything you think you need to achieve, achievements aren't wrong. Success isn't wrong. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great that you're hardworking. I think there are such great qualities about you, but don't confuse success and achievement with love. And that's the only way to get it. That's the growth tip. So, all right. I feel like that got kind of heavy, but let's go ahead and move on to growth tip number 3, which is learn to identify and feel your feelings and your emotions. 3s, you guys know, I think you try and remain super busy, overschedule, overwork, research what you think the next best thing is or the next thing you need in your life or anything like that, right? Sometimes it's even hobbies. It's like, oh, I think I want to be a musician now, or I think I want to, it's all these little things all the time. What's that next thing that you want to buy? Because a lot of 3s do like to shop and they do like to buy things. But my purpose in telling you this is make sure you're not doing these things to help you escape dealing with your emotions and dealing with your feelings. 3s will do those things to run from their feelings sometimes. I know it kind of sounds like a 7, right? Because the Enneagram 7, can do that a little bit. And so the 3s can do it too, but it looks differently. Where that 7 is going after adventure and excitement and different things. The 3 is more like overworking, overachieving. Okay, what can I buy? Just different things like that. That's how it looks a little different in those two. The interesting part is the 3 is smack dab in the middle of the heart triad. 2, 3, and 4s are in the heart triad and the 3's in the middle. And so those 3's wings, the 2 or the 4 are in the heart triad too. And so it's a whole lot of heart. It's a whole lot of feelings and emotions. And I think it tends to overwhelm the 3 to where they just completely ignore them. And this causes them to have such a hard time dealing with them. Truthfully, 3s, your emotions and your feelings can be your blind spot. And so that's why I wanted this to be a growth tip. I wanted to make sure you knew it, make sure you're slowing down enough to look at your own emotions, look at your own feelings, and ask yourself questions. Ask yourself when you are overworking or you are like, oh, I got to buy this or whatever is going on in your head, am I not dealing with something that's in my heart? That's what I want you to ask yourself. Really observe how you relate to your own emotions. Just ask yourself what's going on when you just don't have time or you are too busy and don't have room for your own emotions. All right, guys, so that's all I have for, what it looks like for a 3 to be growing and going towards the healthy side of the 6, and those 3 growth tips that should help you be in a better space and understand yourself a little better. I really hope this helped you learn about yourself, your own needs. And if you're not a 3, but you are watching, first, good job. You guys know I love that when you guys take a step outside yourself and learn about the people in your life. But I hope you're walking away understanding those 3s in your life better. So anyways, that's all I have for today. You guys know I don't ever like to close these without letting you know that if you've gotten to this point and you go, I don't even know my Enneagram type, Hillary. Well, I do offer an Enneagram typing session. All that information can be found down below, but it's a 1-hour Zoom call with me, and usually we can get down to your type. So that's all I have though for today, guys. Until next time, bye.